You want to be hardcore, you want to be extreme. Well, if you're like the Sandman, then you're listening to the podcast Drunk Wrestling History, dudes. And please be drunk when you hear it.
We've got Bush.
I like to fuck. Do you like to fuck?
It's just money shots, chairs all over Barrett.
Those guys with Bang Bus think they're a big deal. My dick is small. What's up, drunk marks and drunk marquettes? And welcome to Drunk Wrestling History. Your designated host Adam is not here. We don't know where he is.
He's pooping.
He says he is, but it's been 10 minutes, and we were already starting 20 minutes late, so we just started without him. We have no idea.
Maybe he's rubbing one out after pooping? Or what's the proper order of that? Do you poop first and then rub one out? Or
No, you do it in the opposite direction.
You rub one out and then you drop a deuce.
Yeah. You only have to flush once.
Oh, that's true. Although, you know what? Like, I don't know if it's my toilets or what. I flush multiple times.
Oh, okay. No, I'm
also,
good.
it's a courtesy flush because, you know.
For yourself?
That old man shit. Yeah, it's for myself. I don't want to sit there and stew in it. Yeah, it's for me, dude. That's why it's called a courtesy.
Right. Yeah, you're being courteous to yourself.
Right. Respect yourself.
So anyway, yeah, we don't know when Adam's going to be dialing in. It was like he told us he was in the bathroom, and we waited like 10 minutes, and he's still not here. And like I said, he was already late, and
I don't think he has IBS.
We started like 20 minutes later than we were planning to anyway. So
2 hours and 20 minutes later than we were planning on.
Well, right, two and a half hours later than we were planning to. Yeah, but then he's been home for like an hour and a half, so I guess he was just like, "Oh, I'll wait till they're ready to go, and then go drop a deuce."
Yeah. Or I mean, look, push notifications. You don't know when they're going to happen.
I guess that's true.
So maybe his body wasn't like, you got to take a dump until like right when we were about to record.
Yeah, I guess
it happens. I mean,
that's true. Well, it's a weird day.
It is a weird day, but we'll hear his sweet melodic tones here shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah, I assume. Yeah.
So what are you drinking, dude?
I'm drinking a Scumbag Cream Ale from Ghost Town Brewery in Oakland.
Nice. Apparently great minds think alike because I'm also drinking a cream ale.
Oh.
It's from Heidi Frank, and the name of it is Dig Tussie Cream Ale. It's quite good.
Dig Tussie? Like two words?
Yes, 2 words. Dig Tussie.
It's like it's like Dick Tuggy.
Or Big Pussy. I don't know.
Yeah, like
I'm not sure where they were going with that one. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Excuse me, but it's really good. So, cheers. Here's to Adam's Deuce.
Yeah, salud.
Not to Adam Deuce, but to Adam's Deuce.
Yeah, not Adam Deuce, no.
Delicious. This
week we are reviewing Starrcade 87, which I realized recently. I was thinking, like, when's the last time we did a WCW episode? And I have like a spreadsheet of all the episodes with the dates and everything. The last one, I think we uploaded it last June. So it's been 10 months since we've done a WCW here. I have no idea how we just kind of forgot about WCW because we were I was trying to keep it a pretty even rotation of WWE, WCW, and ECW. It probably was, I don't think it was happening. We were probably doing WWE like 2-1.
Right.
But yeah, we've probably done like 8 WWEs since then and a few ECWs. It's been 10 months since we've done a WCW one.
Damn, long overdue, but this is going to be a good one, dude, because you actually heard from Cornette that there was a particular match on here that had a significant outcome on WCW/NWA.
Yeah. Wait, Chris is distracting me.
Sorry. Well, I just wanted everyone to know that PBR now makes seltzer with weed in it.
Yeah, weed seltzer, cannabis seltzer.
Look at that.
Her sister brought it over.
Yeah.
Brought to you this week by our sponsor,
PBR
with weed.
Yeah, I think it's called PBR High.
I can't coast on that ribbon anymore.
I hear they added more hops.
Okay, what'd you say about the match?
No, about this pay-per-view specifically, Cornette had some interesting things to say about this.
Yeah, I mean, he basically said that it killed the market, killed Chicago. They did the show in Chicago. So let's start off with the background of that before we get into the first match. So The previous two Starrcades had been in Greensboro and Atlanta at the same time. They did like a WrestleMania 2 type situation.
NWA hotbeds.
Yes, exactly. Those were like two of their biggest. They might have been their number one and number two.
It would not surprise me. Yep.
Yeah. So, and they ended up selling 30,000 tickets between the two places. They had a huge, like a $300,000 gate or something like that. $350,000.
Yeah, that's gigantic for back then, dude.
Yeah,
that kind of money
exactly.
now, that's what, at least double.
Nobody's selling 30,000 tickets except WWE for their stadium shows, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not even sure if AEW sold that many when they did the tennis stadium. Maybe something like that. But yeah, 30,000's a lot. I mean, it's in two arenas, of course, but still.
Right.
So this was going to be their first time on pay-per-view. Someone had convinced Crockett that they needed to do it from a major market because it's like, this is going to be our big show. We can't do it from Greensboro or even Atlanta.
Right.
So they talked him into doing Chicago. Well, Chicago was not a hotbed for him. It was for wrestling in general, but not really Crockett Promotions.
And it was for a particular tag team from Chicago.
The Road Warriors, yeah.
Exactly.
So I think part of it was they were banking on the Road Warriors selling that place out. But they only sold 8,000 tickets.
Damn.
And it also, with it being their first time on pay-per-view, I don't know if I should get into this now or at the end of the show. I guess now. This is when Vince decided to invent Survivor Series.
Right, to go head-to-head.
And he ran that against it. I was thinking that should be our next WWE pay-per-view that we do.
Oh, a Survivor Series?
Survivor Series 87.
Oh, the initial one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, since we're doing this, why not do the other show that went on that night?
No, that's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do that next. So that'll come up in a few weeks. So Vince basically told the pay-per-view companies, if you put that on, we're not giving you WrestleMania 4. So of all the cable companies, only 5 of them, and they'd already signed on to do it, and then Vince came and was like, no, fuck them over, fuck NWA over, if you want WrestleMania. And all but 5 of the cable companies dropped Starrcade. And
that's fucking harsh, dude.
It is. It's harsh, and it completely destroyed the buy rate.
100%. Totally.
Yeah. Because Survivor Series was also on pay-per-view.
Yes.
Right.
That it was,
so
yep.
this ended up getting a 3.1 buy rate. Survivor Series got a 7. Because for one, they were the hotter company, but they were on every cable system too.
And that was a secondary paper. That was like a throwaway almost for the WWF.
Well, it was brand new.
Let's just see what happens. Yeah, it was brand new.
It was brand new. Yeah, exactly. This is Starrcade like, oh, look who's here. Adam just showed up. You guys aren't going to be able to hear him for a minute. Okay, Adam, we already started. So get your headphones on and hit record. And I guess we'll do a 1, 2, 3 countdown. No, we don't have to. I can sync it up. I have a way to sync it up. All right, we're going to keep going until you're ready.
This is great.
So the buy rate ended up being shit. It was a disaster of a show, ticket sales wise. It was a disaster of a show. Pay-per-view wise, they ended up losing a huge amount of money on it, and they were already like $2 million in debt because they had just bought UWF from Watts.
Exactly. Yeah, which I was going to get into before we actually got into the show, like you're doing now.
Right. They had just bought that, so they spent a bunch of money on that. They had a lot more talent because they brought over all those guys. Right. They had Bill Watts's, he had a big office building in Dallas that they were paying a lease on that they didn't need. And then this is after they bought the jet too. So they were spending money like they had it. And then on top of that, then this is going to be like their big thing. We're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of this. It's going to cut into our huge debt that we've accumulated. And it ends up being a financial disaster.
Yeah, Vince basically stabbed the whole thing right in the heart. Killed it before it even got off the ground. I mean, it could have been a great moneymaker for him. Because honestly, top to bottom, outside of, 1 or 2 matches, it's a solid card. And we'll really give him the scaffold match, but the scaffold match the year before did big business for the NWA. So, of course, they're going to be like, let's put another one on the card. It wasn't great in 86 in terms of the match quality, but it got a lot of people tuning in for it. Now, this year, they're going to add the scaffold match again. They've got the Road Warriors in a tag team title match. They had never held the tag titles before. Ric Flair going for the gold again. I mean, it's really a strong card, but Vince really killed this thing before it could even take off.
They really did, or he really did. Yeah, totally. He completely screwed him over. It was ruthless. And a drunk fact I just came across while I was doing research on this, he tried to screw him over with Starrcade 83. That was when Flair wrestled Harley.
Harley Race, yeah.
He had a meeting with Harley the day before it. He offered Harley $250,000 to no-show the show. It's in Harley's book. Yeah. And to show up in WWE with the NWA title.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to get him to do like a Medusa. He offered him $250,000.
Well, just like Flair. Showed
Exactly.
up in the WWF with the titles. 10 years later, boom, he got that shit done.
Exactly. Yeah, right. It took him well, I guess like 7 years or
Yeah.
6 years,
yeah.
but right, exactly. Flair eventually did do exactly that.
Yep.
But and Flair did it because of, I mean, there were circumstances with that about they wouldn't give him back his deposit and everything.
Yeah. WCW was fucking him. So
Yeah. So like they deserved it.
Yeah,
But,
different circumstances, but the same outcome that Vince was looking for.
Exactly. Yeah. And Harley would eventually work for Vince anyway, like a year or two after that.
It was about 3 years.
3 years. Okay. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, let me know when you're
big influx
recording,
of talent
Adam.
too.
What's that?
A big
I'm
influx
recording.
of talent with UWF.
Okay, Adam's recording, so we're all here.
Adam's
now.
on board. Adam.
Okay.
Hello.
Yo,
So what we've covered so far is what we're drinking, that you were dropping a deuce,
I was.
An epic deuce.
an epic. Also, that this is the pay-per-view that killed the Chicago territory for the NWA, and we've touched on the acquisition of the UWF by the NWA. So we have not yet gotten into match number 1.
Okay, which makes sense because there were unification matches.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So the UWF, I don't know if you're even familiar with it, Adam. The UWF basically was an offshoot.
I'm very sure I've heard the name, but definitely haven't looked into it.
So it was basically Mid-South. And when Mid-South got a TV deal, it wasn't a great TV deal, they became the UWF, the Universal Wrestling Federation. And Steve Williams was their champion, as you saw on this show. Their tag team champions were the Sheep Herders, or as you know them, the Bushwhackers.
The Bushwhackers.
Yep. And their TV champion, as you saw on this pay-per-view, was Terry Taylor. The weird thing is, there was only one unification bout
Yeah.
out of the 3
For the
titles.
United States title. Yeah.
Yeah, there was only one unification.
Out
And
of
you
the
would-
3 available and 5 total, and even one of them wasn't even defended.
Yeah, exactly. The tag team titles basically were made defunct the day of this pay-per-view.
Yeah, and they basically all of them went defunct by the end of this, except
That's
for
correct.
except for the one that the Wyndham one was the only.
Well, yeah, the title that Dr. Death held, that Barry Windham was going for, that became defunct a month later.
Oh, I thought that was which one stuck around.
The
one of them stick
heavyweight
around?
title for 1 month.
Oh, okay. I thought there was one that stuck around for a little longer than that. But
Well, the TV title got absorbed. The
Okay.
tag team title was deactivated basically the day of the show.
okay.
And then the heavyweight title lasted another month, and it went away.
And at that point, the UWF basically ceased to exist.
Was done.
It
Absolutely
was kind of
done.
it was kind of the same as when they did the WCW invasion. They kept it around for a
Right.
few months, did the invasion, and then WCW didn't exist anymore. So UWF got
Yes.
the same treatment, basically.
Exactly, yeah. They got absorbed and then forgotten, really.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get into the first match because that's got several of the people that they picked up in that UWF.
Pretty much the
quick,
entire
actually.
match.
Pretty much.
So I'm on location in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't even know that.
yeah, I followed through with that trip.
Yeah, last I talked to you, you still didn't know if you were going to go.
Yeah, that was the case.
Look at
I'm
Adam
having some rocky.
on location. Touring around the nation.
Okay, I was
I
so...
already had a Seattle tour. You've had the San Diego Experience Experiment.
Okay,
and-
now that I know you're in Denver, I'm way less annoyed with you for buying tickets to a show because when you told me last night...
Yeah.
So I'll pull back the curtain on this. We were supposed to start today at 3 o'clock. We started about 15 minutes ago at 5:25. I didn't hear from Adam till last night that he couldn't start until 5 today because he bought a show that started at 1. And I'm like, what the fuck did you do that for? We were planning on starting at 3. I didn't realize you were in Colorado. Now it makes sense because it's something that you can only do while you're there. So, yeah.
Look at us airing our dirty laundry.
But
I was annoyed with you for all day, dude. If you had told me that last night, I would have been way less annoyed.
I forget if it was established, but either way, it's the case. Real quick, I've got some Rocky Mountain root beer, and
Of course.
and what am I eating? Of which would be one of the
Rocky
more
Mountain
obvious
oysters?
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Oh my
baby.
god, dude, are you really?
oh, good lord.
Yeah, I got a full order yesterday, knowing that I wanted to have some for today.
So you're eating 1 day old fried testicles.
Yeah,
Adam doesn't
D's
mind eating
nuts.
fried stuff later, dude. He brought home a piece of chicken from Roscoe's.
That's true.
Yeah, I was like, I saw him put it in the car. I was like, "Are you going to eat that?" He goes, "Oh, why do you want it?" I was like, "No, I'm surprised you're going to
It
eat
was
it."
refrigerated.
Yeah, it's just like fried stuff is kind of gross the next day, but
At least Adam's big on his food safety. That's good.
You look like you're enjoying your balls.
Delicious testicles. First match is a 6-man tag team match. Sting, Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, and Michael P.S. Hayes with Miss Precious taking on Eddie Gilbert, Rick Steiner. Do we give that name the Benoit treatment?
Well, I don't know yet, man.
He didn't kill anyone.
Okay.
Yeah,
And-
he didn't kill his wife and kids.
I mean, he
so-
acted like
That's true.
he acted like a fucking dick at the thing, but
And
yeah,
Larry
He's a total
Zbyszko
douche.
with Baby Doll. But
right. No, I think you just point out that he acted like a dick every time you mention him. But I think unless you kill people, your name gets said.
Yeah, I mean, we still talk about Jimmy Snuka on the show, and we're pretty sure he killed
That's
some
true.
people.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess there are people that we talk that kill. We say Rey Mysterio's name. He killed someone.
Great Khali also.
Great Khali too. Yeah. I guess you have to kill your own son.
Right, that's where we draw the line, damn it.
Yeah.
We have standards around
So
here.
unless Ray has a accident in the ring with Dominic, we'll still say his name.
Exactly. God forbid.
anyways, Tony and JR say the crowd is electric and jam-packed. On the wide shot, it's only half full.
And one of my first notes is they should have lit the ring better and the crowd less, because you can see all those empty seats. They do fill in eventually, but it looks really fucking bad on TV.
Yeah, I wonder if it was weather that prohibited people from getting there on time.
Could have been. Yeah, I mean, it is November in Chicago.
Yeah, or half of the population that was going to show up had been murdered. I don't know. It is Chicago.
Yeah, or it could have just been due to lack of interest. I
That
don't know.
too,
We'll-
yeah.
We'll get there. Maybe they bought tickets to another show before it.
Got to get those digs in.
Baby Doll's hair is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. This
Very
side of
80s,
Susan.
Yeah.
And Rick Steiner looks really weird in those shorts.
Right.
They're like manscaped underwear is what they look like. And he has mismatched boots. He looks like his gear got lost.
Well, he would do that. Like, that kind of became his gimmick.
Okay.
Is that he would have, like, mismatched gear. At some point, he started wearing headgear as well.
I remember the headgear. Yeah. And I remember him in the singlet, like he looked like a, that was his gimmick when the Steiners were, a big deal.
So he eventually joined the Varsity Club with Kevin Sullivan. Mm-hmm. And that's when he started wearing the singlet.
Okay.
And then the singlet kind of morphed into what you know from seeing the Steiners in the late 80s, early 90s in the WWF.
Okay.
So his gear kind of evolved.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen a match of his from this early in his career.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Not that I can remember.
Okay, so pretty much, excuse me, everybody in this match, outside of Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, and I believe, Larry Zbyszko came from the AWA. Everybody
Yes.
else, UWF implants.
Okay.
And obviously, this is right before Sting got huge in
Right,
the
he
NWA
was-
because
this is
4 months
right-
later.
Right. This is right when he and the Warrior split up. The Warrior
Yes.
went up to New York and Sting
Yep.
came here. Yeah. So
And then
Sting's
4 months later, Sting had like the biggest match of his career. That Clash
Right.
of Champions versus Flair. That basically put Sting on the map. So you could already tell, like, kind of watching this match,
Yeah.
he was being groomed. Like, he was being set up for success. Like, they were positioning him. Yeah, he's in the curtain jerker, but really showcased in this match.
right. 4 months later, he had the biggest career of his match. And 4 months later, Warrior wrestled Hercules
Right.
at WrestleMania 4.
Right. But look, to be fair, 2 years later, Warrior had a gigantic match.
No, I know. Warrior was just kind of like 2 years behind Sting,
He really was. Dude.
Yeah, which he was
really
about 20 years behind him on skill.
Well, and if you look at the pool of talent, Sting definitely rose a lot faster than the Ultimate Warrior did.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Immediately, like, Warrior didn't have a title match. Shit. Until Hogan, right?
So Hogan, that was his first. I mean, he had the IC title before, but yeah, his first title match was Hogan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking heavyweight title. Dude,
Yeah.
4 months after this, Sting was in the
Right.
world title match against Flair, headlining Clash of Champions, which, by the way, went head-to-head with WrestleMania 4
Right. Yeah.
for free.
Yeah, for free. Yeah.
So if you're going to put a guy in the ring with Flair, you want it to be a big name. They put a rookie in there.
Mm-hmm.
So that just shows you, obviously, the NWA, and rightfully so, had big plans for this kid.
big plans for Sting. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's what happens when you don't have Hogan on the roster.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can give
Exactly.
you can make a guy a top guy.
Exactly.
So they start out pretty hot. Right away, they end up like Steiner gets a cheap shot on Sting. They all end up outside the ring, but Sting tosses Steiner.
Double drop kick.
Double drop kick. He hits a dive and a missile drop kick on him, and then everyone gets in the ring, and then the faces clear it out, and the crowd is going crazy. Like, it's just like boom, 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 like one big thing after another to start. It was really cool. It's very like modern wrestling, actually.
All 5,000 people got to their feet.
Yeah, probably was only about 5,000 people during this match. Yeah. And then when Hayes gets tagged in, the place goes wild. They love Michael Hayes.
Oh yeah, love Michael Hayes.
Yeah, even in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Even in Chicago, they loved him. But he tags right out to do a double team with Garvin. But then Steiner escapes, and he tags Zbyszko, and the crowd hates Zbyszko. And Zbyszko was basically like a non-factor in this match. All he did was, every time he got in there, someone reversed something on him, he'd get tagged out. I don't know if Zbyszko was hurt or didn't care or, or what, but he like barely did anything. He would get in there, take it. I think at one point he Irish whipped one of them into the corner and then charged him and got hit and tagged right out.
I've never been a big Larry Z guy.
I never have either, and I haven't seen a lot of his work, but as a character, as a personality, I never was really a fan. And this match didn't change that at all.
Yeah, no, same. And he was still a big deal into like the early to mid 90s with WCW.
Right,
He was a tag team champion with Arnie Anderson, but I never saw it personally.
It's almost like he was always coasting on that feud with Bruno.
Yeah.
From 30 years earlier. Like he's like PBR. They've been coasting on that blue metal win for the last 130 years.
Right. Way to rest on your laurels. Like.
Yeah, right. So Zbyszko ends up putting Garvin in a abominable stretch, and he tags Garvin ends up tagging Sting while in it, who comes in and whips everyone's ass. And it was just like kind of bizarre. And then Zbyszko cuts him off with an eye rake. But now Eddie Gilbert's legal. So it kind of gets like sloppy.
A little bit.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So then Steiner ends up doing a bear hug and to slow the match down. And then he eventually suplexes Hayes, but he gets a 2 count. You get everyone in the ring again. And then the time runs out.
I hated it.
Weird, right? For a time limit draw in the first match?
In the first match, because you want to get the crowd invested, and the crowd was hot. Like you said, that big skirmish in the ring, the crowd was into it, dude. Mm-hmm. The real finish here should have been Sting pins Eddie Gilbert.
Yeah, that would have made
Not that Eddie
sense.
Gilbert was bulletproof.
Yeah.
But he could have taken an L here, and Sting should have gotten the win for his team.
Right.
That's how you build it. Like, and especially knowing 4 months later, Sting's facing Ric Flair for the title, Sting should have gotten the win for his team here.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah,
Just my opinion.
Yeah, really shitty way to start a show. Good match, shitty finish.
Yeah, 100% agree. 100%
Even
agree.
if your crowd gets hot at the end of a time limit, it means that they're going to die down when there is a time limit draw. So yeah. Didn't like that finish.
Yeah, I mean, Sting could have even won the small package. Like something like just a quick pin.
Yeah,
so
like,
Eddie Gilbert at least has an out. They should have given Sting the win for his team here.
Yeah, a quick lucky pin.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, great opening match. Exactly like you said. Great opening match, bad finish.
Right. Yeah.
Also, just with the wide shots, I don't know if this was addressed. It seems like the ring was 5 feet smaller or something like that.
Well, it's a 16-foot ring. WWE uses a 20-foot ring, so you're used to seeing a 20-foot ring, so it is smaller than what you're used to seeing.
I'm very used to seeing a 20-foot ring if that's the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. They throw down to Missy Hyatt, who's near the dressing rooms.
And she says...
Is she?
She says, we're going to see Ric Flair and Ronnie Garvin going up again.
She has the best words.
Yeah. She knows words.
She has words and shit. She can say things.
Yeah, it was riveting stuff.
It really was, dude.
Mm-hmm. Next match is for the UWF Heavyweight Championship. The champion, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, taking on Barry Windham. So, Steve Williams comes out wearing an Oklahoma Sooners football jersey. JR probably acting the way I did when I saw George Kittle at WrestleMania.
Yeah. JR's like, I can only get so hard, Dr. Death. Come on. It's Dr. Death and an Oklahoma. Oh, yeah. Come on. We're going to kill JR here.
Also, on our famous shirt thing on the pre-show on the second day, we also saw Talanoa Fanga and Charvarius Ward while George Kittle was being interviewed, and we're trying to throw up the shirt to the camera. But,
and I had no idea who anybody was.
It happens.
It's okay.
Yeah. So this is the Western States Heavyweight Championship, right?
That's what Barry Windham held, but technically this was for the UWF title.
Yes, right. Barry had the Western States Heavyweight Championship, which was kind of a bullshit.
I think they did establish that, but not on the
Yeah, it was kind of a bullshit title. It was named after a title out of Amarillo. It was sort of a tribute to the Amarillo territory.
Okay.
Which the Funks owned, and they eventually sold it to Murdoch and Mulligan. Eventually bought that, and they tried to expand into California, and it didn't work. They did a show in Hollister or some fucking Watsonville or something like that. Yeah, they tried to invade Roy Shire's territory by going into Watsonville.
What?
It didn't work out,
That's
and they ended up
threatening.
folding it, I think, after a year. But it was the Western States Heavyweight Championship, and it was almost never defended there. It was mostly defended on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's weird they didn't put Watsonville into that California love song. It's such a big place here.
A major oversight on the part of Tupac.
I agree.
Just for that, I'm next recording. I'll go on location to Watsonville.
Adam's our traveling reporter.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sure they have a McDonald's there.
I'm sure you can find a good taqueria, at least.
Probably.
But is this where they kind of show you how they value the UWF heavyweight title? I mean, no offense to Barry Windham. He's one of the greatest, I would say probably the most underrated guy NWA, WCW ever had.
Probably.
But they put the Western States Heritage title on him. That's fine.
Yeah.
But he's the guy that faces the UWF heavyweight champion. And it's not even like a unification bout or anything.
Right. Yeah, it's for a title that they
So
have no
fucking
plans
weird.
for.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
Like if he'd won, would he have still would have just disappeared in a month?
Yeah, dude, there was way more prestige on the TV title.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Especially
Yeah.
as people had seen that for years. Because a lot of people, if you didn't watch UWF or you didn't watch Mid-South, if you were out of the Mid-South area, you wouldn't have seen Mid-South whatsoever.
Exactly.
You know? So, yeah, like this, I mean, yeah, the U.S. title had history behind it. This was kind of bullshit. It was like a lame title.
And second match on the card.
And second match on the card, which is the death spot.
Right.
So Death right away gorilla presses Barry.
Well, there was a handshake.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, there was a handshake. So the story of this match is these guys are friends. They're going to have like a friendly fight.
Right, but 2 minutes in, Chicago is shitting all over this.
Chicago hates a friendly fight, apparently.
Hate it, dude.
Chicago wants to see guys beat the fucking shit out of each other.
Kick each other in the dicks. Fuck the handshakes.
Yeah.
That hella makes sense. There was like a lot of sportsmanship in it.
Yeah. Yeah, Chicago's not a
match.
fan.
Notice
Yeah,
that.
so he
Okay.
gorilla presses Barry, but he does a few reps with him. He's strong as fuck because Barry is a huge dude. And I don't doubt Barry's helping him. You know, he's doing a push-up off of Death's shoulder.
Right.
But still, just to lift a dude, I mean, to lift a barbell that weighs what Barry Windham weighs, you got to be strong as shit. But to lift a human body that's not balanced for it, you know, and he's, like I said, he's helping balance himself, but still, like, that's just incredible. He's fucking Barry, because Barry is huge.
And fucking JR's boner at this point is just tremendous.
Oh, yeah, it's out of control.
You can't even help it anymore. He's about to pass out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all the blood's leaving his head.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of like cruiserweight style to start, but these guys are humongous. They're doing a bunch of quick reverses, and you know everyone's trying to go for a move, and nobody can hit it because the other guy reverses it. It's almost like it's almost like watching like Lucha Libre for a second.
Which is the beauty of, I think, more so Barry Windham than Dr. Death.
Yes, he was more of the athletic guy.
Right, Windham could wrestle a different style. Dr. Death was more of your power guy.
Yeah.
Not really accustomed to doing this. I mean, he did fine, but I think it's more saying how good Windham was in the ring.
Yeah, exactly. So eventually slows down with Death gets a side headlock. He ends up shooting Barry into the rope, and this was cool. I've never seen this spot before. He went to do a leapfrog, which Barry Windham is, 6'6"?
Yes.
He goes to leapfrog a 6'6" guy, and he takes a headbutt to the dick.
Yeah, yeah.
Right to the nutsack.
And I almost thought it was a botch for a second, you know, just because I've never seen it.
No, it was a spot.
Yeah,
For sure.
and then you kind of get that, okay, Barry's going to let him catch his breath. He's going to let him recover. He's not going to get on top of him and fuck him
Right.
up. Again, so then I was like, oh no, this is
sportsmanship.
part of the match. It reminded me of Piper versus Brett at WrestleMania 8.
Very much so, yes.
Right.
Very much so.
But I'm waiting for a cheap shot like we got from Piper.
Right. You're thinking, okay, Barry's going to turn heel here.
Yeah, but it never happens, really, not a cheap shot per se. It's a really short match, so I'll just get right to the end. Barry goes for a crossbody, misses it, hits the top rope. He goes out, he bounces off the rope and lands on his fucking feet on the floor, which was incredible for a dude that size.
Skills.
While he's coming back in, Dr. Death catches him in a quick cradle for the win. The
Weird finish.
It was kind of like, I thought it was actually a pretty cool finish. I mean, storyline wise, because obviously this was about the story of the feud between the two guys that's coming.
And it wasn't a great match, though.
No, it wasn't a great match. It was probably less than 5 minutes long. Not a lot went on, and they totally botched the pin because Death completely had his arm under Barry's shoulder
Right.
during the pin because he locked his hands together in that cradle.
Exactly.
We got 650 on this match.
Okay,
So
650, yeah.
that's their ballpark, at least.
Yeah, so they didn't do a whole lot, and like I said, I think this was setting up something down the road because I'm assuming these guys had more matches after this.
Nope.
They didn't.
Nope.
Well, shit.
No, it's awful, dude. And Barry Windham was going 60 minutes with Ric Flair in I don't even know how many towns, like a year before this.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Oh, it's stupid. Like on paper, this should have been one of the best matches on the card. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And as Adam said, 6 minutes, 50 seconds for that kind of a weird finish.
Yeah, I thought
The
it was.
crowd was shitting all over and chanting
And
boring,
the
and, they
bell
weren't
didn't
wrong.
even ring.
Yeah, I actually thought
Yeah.
it was. I thought it was fairly well booked if you're booking long term. But
No, it was not a long-term feud at all because 3 months later, Barry Windham and Lex Luger win, or maybe even 2 months later, Barry Windham and Ric Flair win. Barry Windham and Lex Luger win the tag team titles, and Barry Windham turned heel like 4 months after this.
okay, well,
Yeah, and Dr. Death was in like the Varsity Club. So yeah, there was no long-term booking. It was done.
so this
After
is
match, that was
example.
it.
So this is example 2 of shitty booking for the night.
And shitty match number 2.
Shitty match number 2, yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the first match was okay. It was just the finish was shit.
Well, no, I mean in the history of the second match on a pay-per-view.
Oh,
This just absolutely feeds
yeah.
into that, what Jericho said.
right. Yeah, exactly.
Kiss of death match.
Yeah. So let's get on to the next match.
The next match is a non-title Skywalker's match.
So you mentioned,
Nobody named Luke.
yeah, I know that's lame.
All right. The Midnight Express, who are the U.S. Tag Champions, with Jim Cornette and Big Bubba Rogers taking on the Rock and Roll Express.
So you mentioned earlier that they had booked a scaffold match the previous year.
Yep, and it
And
did big business for them.
It did big business, so why not do it again? But a reason not to do it again is because it wasn't good the first time.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
Like I would think like, oh, that match sucked. Let's not book it, but it popped a buy rate. Let's
Yep.
not do it again though, because it's not gonna nobody's gonna tune in to see this because they know it's gonna suck.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's what happened after this one. Because we didn't see another scaffold match, to the best of my knowledge, on a pay-per-view until Great American Bash 91.
That was
and we
almost-
reviewed that pay-per-view.
The one we covered.
Yeah, the one with Stone Cold, right?
Yeah. There
Yeah.
might have been one at a Great American Bash, if I'm not mistaken. And it would have been like the Road Warriors versus the Russians or something. But it wasn't going to headline a major pay-per-view like Starrcade. Because this was basically the NWA's WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And they never had another scaffold match highlight or main event another Starrcade.
Okay. So the first thing I thought is, why do you have a scaffold match go on third?
Dude.
It seemed
Right.
weird, but then after the match, they end up going to a bunch of backstage stuff so they can tear the scaffold down.
Tear it down. Yep.
Which I was like, yeah, I guess if you're sitting, because the scaffold straddles the ring. So for anyone who's not seen it, it's shaped like a horseshoe,
Yep.
I guess, but with 90-degree angles instead of being round on top. And the parts of the scaffold that come to the floor are dead center in the middle of the ring. They're right at that, I guess, 8-foot mark. So if you're sitting on that side of the ring, you're looking at a ring with a scaffold blocking the center of it.
Yep.
You know, like a 4-foot wide scaffold. So it makes sense to take it out after that, because I was like, why are they taking it down? It was there the whole time. But then I'm like, no, it's blocking a lot of people's views. Then why not start with the match?
Right.
Put it on first, because everybody had to watch the first 2 matches with this stupid scaffold in the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
So another bad idea.
Unless they needed some time for the duct tape to adhere. Or...
Well, yeah, because it didn't look like it was rigged the best, because if you look at the top of it, it's got wires rigging it to the ceiling, but the wires are coming off at about a 30-degree angle, but only on one side. So it actually looks like it could tip toward the wires.
Yeah.
If someone were to try, like if Bubba accidentally walked into it, wasn't paying attention to where he was going, it looked like it could fall over toward those wires. It wouldn't hit the floor, but it would tip.
And in 86, it looked rickety as fuck, too.
It did. It looked rickety as fuck. It did not look safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like It was pretty crazy. So right away, they all go up there pretty much within the first minute. There's a little bit of fighting in the ring between two of them, but they pretty much all end up there.
Big Bubba attacks Ricky Morton before he heads up, so that it essentially becomes a 2-on-1 on top of the scaffold.
For the first few minutes, yeah. Corny gets bumped right away, but the camera misses it, so you don't really know exactly what happens to him. You just hear it, and then you see him on the mat.
Right.
There's not really
These
much.
are okay, though.
I don't know how much detail we need for this match other than there were a lot of tennis racket shots.
Yes, a lot of punching, a lot of kicking, and a lot of tennis racket.
Because there's not a lot you could do on a scaffold. Nobody's going to take... You're not taking any bumps on it, or not a lot of bumps anyway.
Definitely no Frankensteiners.
No, nobody... yeah, or a destroyer.
Right.
I guess maybe I just haven't seen as many scaffold matches. This seemed like one of the better ones, only because there was more attempts to fight instead of catching your balance and get the quick move. And
yeah, it was
like
probably better than the other one we watched, but it wasn't.
I still hated it.
No, it was not good at all.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, the Rock and Roll Express
regardless,
finishing.
you're still on a scaffold. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Rock and Roll Express finishing move is a double drop kick. There's no way in fuck they're doing that on a scaffold.
No, not even this
way.
one, which isn't actually that tall. It's only probably 12 feet high.
Yeah.
Which is part of what's lame about the scaffold, because, well, we'll get to the finish, but they always finish the same way. But Bobby Eaton takes like 4 racket shots to the head, and he's not getting his hand up at all. So I'm like, that thing's got to be like rubber or something. Like, that can't be or I guess you could hit a guy with the laces on a racket. Maybe if they're loose.
Yeah, if they're loose, I would say so.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean,
But then again, it was completely covered, so maybe it wasn't a wire rack. Maybe...
Oh, it's like foam or something in it.
Or maybe there's nothing in between
Possibly.
it. Maybe there's no...
Maybe it was
empty.
Maybe it was made from Nerf.
Yeah, I guess it could be.
Yeah.
I guess it could be empty, and with the cover on it, you wouldn't really be able to tell. Maybe that's
You wouldn't
what it
even
was.
know. Yeah,
you'd
good
just be
point.
getting hit with fabric.
Good point.
Robert gets busted open, and I'm like, I'm not sure a scaffold match needs blood, especially since I'm assuming Flair's going to be bleeding in about an hour and a half.
When Dusty.
And Dusty, which I wasn't even think. Well, at this point, I don't think I realized that was a cage match because I just glanced at the card.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Beautiful Bobby does a powder in the eyes spot, but he spills most of it.
Okay, that had to be cocaine, dude. I know I always joke about
You say this every time.
I do, but it's 1987, dude. Like, it's coke.
Well, if it was, he got it from Jimmy Garvin, because we'll talk about his promo after this match.
Thank you.
Yeah, you caught that too, huh?
Oh, dude, I have a little bit on that. Yeah. Yeah.
So they said it like Tony Schiavone said like 5 times it's salt, and it was like, it was not salt at all. It looked nothing. It looked like baby powder.
It looked like baby powder.
It was like a big cloud of it. It was stuck to everything. It was clearly not salt. They could have just said it was like anything. I mean, getting powder in your eyes would fuck you up. It doesn't even have to be salt.
It was weird that all 4 guys brought out straws, though. Little razor blades.
Everyone but Bubba.
There's also one point where Jared points out when they were wrestling on the edges of the scaffolds that they're over concrete, not the ring.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right. Because like at the outside of the ring, right? Because it's wider than the ring is.
Right.
So Stan Lane ends up getting on the bottom of the thing, and he tries to monkey bar across from one side to get away from Ricky, but he falls, so he's out. Then Beautiful Bobby gets double teamed.
Yep.
He ends up rolling to the bottom, and the finish was kind of cool. Robert Gibson was hanging, like sort of like he had his arms holding him up on the scaffold, and he was like scissor kicking him.
Right. And then you had Ricky Morton on the other side hitting him as well.
And hitting him with the racket.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then that's it. He falls, and they win.
Yeah, Midnight Express loses another scaffold match.
Exactly, yeah, right. And then Bubba goes up there, and he gets punched in the dick.
Yeah.
And then Midnight
He
Express...
falls for the standard look over there tactic.
Yeah, and then Rock and Roll Express runs away.
Yeah.
But the
It was
baby
weird
faces
for the
ran.
faces.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the face punches the guy in the dick and runs away.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, really bizarre.
Yeah, and it's just like those scaffold matches, and nobody wants to take a bump off the top of it, so they hang from it and let go. And then at that point, you're only falling like 4 feet, which can still fuck you up, landing on your feet. Like
That shit still
like
hurts.
like what happened to Cornette.
Right. Yep.
You're expecting something much more spectacular, and you're not getting it. Like these matches don't. If they did them, if Spike Dudley and Darby Allin did a scaffold match, then it would like deliver on its expectations.
Or Vic Grimes and New Jack.
Vic Grimes and New Jack. Yeah, okay, you're right. That's the best scaffold match of all time.
Oh, absolutely. And
Spike and Darby.
So word on the street is that the Powers of Pain, because they made their debuts in the NWA shortly after this show, they were supposed to go into a series of scaffold matches with the Road Warriors when they were having their feud.
Okay.
The reason the Powers of Pain ended up in the WWF is because they straight up refused to lose the scaffold match. Neither of them wanted to drop, which makes sense. Those guys are well over 6 feet, muscled to the gills. They didn't want to take that fall. NWA insisted that they do it. They're like, fuck you, we quit. Went and signed with Vince.
Huh. Never knew that.
Yeah, so there's the downfall of the scaffold match as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. If you're those guys, you don't want to fall off that shit.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you're paying me. Fuck that shit. We saw what happened to Corny.
Yeah, exactly. So then backstage we've got Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin, and Jimmy Garvin won't fucking shut up, dude.
Which is weird because you've got Michael Hayes standing there.
And Michael Hayes starts looking kind of annoyed, like he starts staring off into space, like he's clearly not even listening anymore. He's just kind of like, why'd I even come here?
I made a note. I was figuring the director or stage manager was doing the stretch motion behind the camera.
I mean, maybe, but you'd think if that's what it was, that he would toss to Hayes.
Right.
You know, you had two guys there that could talk, and only one of them did. And I mean, it was just like, my brother Ronnie, my brother Ronnie. It was like, it was crazy, dude.
He wouldn't stop. It was like a filibuster.
Yeah, I've never seen a promo like that.
No, never. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait, he's still going.
Yeah, right. I was like, he must have pre-gamed before the party at Nature's Room after the show.
Right.
That was about as long as my deuce.
Yeah, right.
Shit.
Which, by the way, it was the one where I wanted to do part by part. This isn't my room. I don't want to destroy a toilet, so.
You didn't deuce in your room?
No, it's a hotel room. I don't want to. No, cut it up. This isn't worthy.
I can't.
We already made the stretch remark, but that was just a quick one. But,
Oh my god, that's great.
All right.
Oh my god, I got bruised ribs, dude. Take it easy on me. Fuck. Oh my god, that was fantastic.
So after
next
that,
time we go on a trip, you want me to stretch out a deuce? Just do the hand signal.
I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Steve Williams comes in for a response for his match.
He mentions. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he said he fought back like the Sooners did last week. Now you cue the music. And so I looked this up. I first realized that this pay-per-view actually was on Thanksgiving Day, not just saying overall Thanksgiving Day. The game in reference would have been on Saturday the 21st. It was nicknamed Game of the Century 2. Oklahoma was number 1 and undefeated up until the previous week, and then got ranked number 2 behind their opponent, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. After being down 7-0 at halftime, Oklahoma came back to win 17-7.
Very good.
That's your sports segment with Perfect Strangers music.
Thank you.
Good homework there, Adam. Very well done.
Sponsored by the Dance of Joy.
I wouldn't have even thought to look that up. That was great. Dr. Death also says that Starrcade is the biggest thing in wrestling 8 months after WrestleMania 3.
Right. Right, exactly.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. Obviously trying to like downgrade what Survivor Series was.
Yeah,
but yeah, we're just a few months removed from the biggest fucking pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah, it's also not as big as the other pay-per-view that's going on at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even the biggest thing that night.
Right. I don't know, was there a Bulls game on? That might have been way bigger. And I love that Dr. Death claims to be the wrestling machine of the world.
Right.
He was not a good promo guy at this point.
No, he got that like angry thing going, you know, like he sounds like he's gonna kick someone's ass, but the shit he said was just kind of fucking out there.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so how are you on time, Scott? What time do you have to leave?
I have to leave for like another, I would say 30 minutes. 30 to 35 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah, I think we're doing good, dude.
Okay. Let's just not spend too much time on the next match because I don't think anybody cares about this match.
That's what you had said. Yeah, 15 seconds. We're good on time.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's right. I did say that to you earlier. Yeah, nobody cares about fucking Terry Taylor.
I mean, I care about Nikita Koloff, but...
Yeah.
But as established earlier, this is the one and only unification match. The UWF and NWA Television Championship unification between Terry Taylor, the UWF TV champion, with Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert, taking on the NWA TV champion, Nikita Koloff.
So I'm going to give you a few of my notes on this because I thought this match was boring. Until
It was, dude. It wasn't great.
It got pretty good at the end. So this is the first time I noticed that there are a bunch of photographers around the ring. Like it looks like King of the Ring 93 in the main event.
Right.
You know, I just never noticed until right now that there's a lot of photographers, and one of them looks like fucking Judge Janine. She's like right there on the side. You know Judge Janine Pirro? Yeah, she looks like her. And I was like, and before that, a camera, one of the outside floor cameras was super crooked. The dude was holding it like at a 45-degree angle, like he was doing an ECW show or something. And I was like... And then it looked like he was drunk. I was like, is the camera guy drunk? Then I see Judge Janine, and I'm like, maybe he was drinking. Maybe that is her. He was drinking with her.
Oh, shit.
Did you ever see that?
With her or Cecily Strong doing Judge Janine?
Or that'd be even better. Did you ever see the clip where she was drunk on her show?
No.
She came on the air like 15 minutes late. Like the show was supposed to start at like 5 or whatever. It started at like 5:15. And she gets on there. She's all disheveled. Her hair is all messed up. And right at the edge of the shot, you could see a straw, like a bendy straw. Was like,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like the tip of a bendy straw was in the shot.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it looked like she had a margarita over there. It was funny as hell. And she's slurring, you know, like she was clearly fucking drunk. It was great.
That's where we got our idea for our show from.
Yeah, right. We ripped off Judge Janine.
So that means at some point one of us has to go like,
so it's just hold. I'm completely bored. It picked up for a second and then slowed right down, and I missed what happened because I was looking at Twitter. And here's one of my notes. WWE Championship, Block the Blue, Remdesivir, Inflation, Ashanti, Repeal, Happy Birthday to the Goat, Sunday Funday, Chuck Todd, Why Can't Men Be Left Alone, Backlash, Bed Bath & Beyond, Lee Majors. Do you know what any of those are?
No idea.
Those were all trending topics on Twitter while I was watching this match.
Wait, what happened to Lee Majors?
I don't know. Did he die? I don't know. I didn't click on
it. I didn't hear about it.
Did it happen at a Bed Bath & Beyond?
Yeah, he went to a Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. Maybe he's dead. Maybe there was a Bloodbath & Beyond.
Oh.
I don't know. I didn't click it. But yeah, that's what I was doing during this match.
Got it. Did you catch the finish?
I did catch the finish. I also caught that Terry Taylor has like a surgical scar on his stomach that I never noticed before. Yeah, I don't like above his belly button.
Interesting. Lipo?
Yeah, maybe. He ends up working Nikita Koloff's knee through most of the match. Eddie Gilbert it starts when Eddie Gilbert hits him in the knee with a chair. So then his knee's fucked up. Terry works it the whole time. He does a figure 4 on him. Terry does a figure 4 on Nikita Koloff. Eddie Gilbert's assisting him, which doesn't make any sense when you pull a guy's arms in a figure 4 that it hurts more.
Right.
Nothing about that makes any sense. Earl is the referee. He catches him. He should have tossed him, but instead of tossing him, he gets distracted by Terry. Then Eddie Gilbert chokes Nikita, who picks him up onto the apron because he's so strong he can lift a guy from the floor to the apron. They do the spot where Terry charges at Nikita, hits Eddie Gilbert. Nikita hits his clothesline and pins him. The crowd goes wild. It could have been better if it was 6 or 7 minutes shorter.
Yeah, and I think it could have been a quick match.
Do you have the time on the match, Adam? Because it felt like about 25 minutes to me, but I think it was much less.
Let me look that up.
I'm gonna guess about 12.
All right, he's guessing 12. What do you got?
I'm gonna say 16.
We got 18:58.
Okay.
Wow, holy shit, that's way too long.
Okay, it's longer than I actually thought, but it was shorter than it felt.
See, Dr. Death and Barry Windham and this match should have flipped their times in the ring.
Yeah, totally. This should have been a really quick match.
Yeah. Nikita was a badass, dude. He won with the Russian sickle. The right guy won this match.
Yeah, Nikita was a badass. Terry Taylor was a really good wrestler, but just kind of bland. You know, he's just blah.
Right.
You know, I mean, really, like the Red Rooster was the best thing he did.
That was charisma.
You know what I mean?
That's what he's remembered for.
Yeah, because it was the most interesting thing he ever. It was when he was the most interesting. I thought, as stupid as it was, at least was kind of, it stood out.
Did you ever hear that Terry Taylor picked the Red Rooster over Mr. Perfect? They gave him his choice of the two gimmicks, and Kurt Hennig got what was left.
Right. Yes, that's true.
That's
I believe that's true.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you imagine if it had flipped?
Oh, he's as smart as he is charismatic.
Dude.
Yeah, I don't know what he was
good.
thinking. Yeah, no, Mr. Perfect, that sounds stupid. I'm going to do the Rooster.
Yeah.
And make sure that you tune in to that episode when we cover what if they actually changed.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's a good one.
That would work. We could do that'd be fun. So that's it for that match. And we talked about it about 3 times as long as I thought we would.
Yeah, way too long.
Yeah.
Next match is for the World Tag Team Championship. The champions, Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson, with J.J. Dillon, taking on the Road Warriors with Paul Ellering. Now the crowd is filled, and
Yes. The
pretty
table's
much
set.
they waited for this match. They are hot.
And
Yes.
you know this is going to be a badass match.
Yep.
Because the Road Warriors are the Road Warriors.
The
And
hometown heroes.
yeah, and I know we just did an episode about the Dudleys being the best team of all time, but that was, I mean, for me anyway, that was basing that on their credentials rather
100%.
than their in-ring work. The Brainbusters might be the best in-ring team I've ever seen. They were so
I agree with you.
good. They were incredible. Everyone they ever had a match with was good.
That's why I love FTR. They take a lot of what the Brainbuster did so well.
Right, they remind me of the Brainbusters. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
yes.
and I think they're by far the best tag team right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with
they
you.
would have those matches in WWE with the Rockers and the Hart Foundation, and they were just incredible.
Yes.
Awesome,
Agreed.
awesome fucking team. Arn comes right at Hawk like a badass, like, fuck this, I'll just go kick his ass. And he ends up taking a flare bump from the top rope because he gets him a couple shots and then goes up top.
He gets pressed and walks to the center of the ring, slams him.
Yeah, he presses him and takes him for a walk and then slams him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just right away showing how much more powerful they are.
Yeah, the Road Warriors just absolutely dominated the first portion of the match. And that is a good start because the crowd, like you guys said, so hot for the Road Warriors right now.
Exactly, yeah.
This is what they wanted.
Yeah,
Arn
they
and-
started the match perfectly.
Yeah, Arn and Tully couldn't do shit for the first probably 5 minutes.
Easy, yeah.
They'd get a shot on him and just get cut off right away. It was just they had zero offense. It was great.
And the crowd popped for every fucking thing.
Yeah, they were just completely dominated by them. JJ tries to punk out Ellering outside the ring, like he's trying to distract the Road Warriors. And,
Right.
That doesn't really work. Tully takes a powder and Animal Gorilla presses him and throws him back in.
Yeah, through the second rope.
Yeah, through the second rope. Yeah, that was an awesome
ease.
spot.
Yeah.
And then Hawk, I forgot how good that guy's drop kick was.
Yeah, dude.
He does a drop kick like Randy Orton almost.
Right.
Like it's
right.
not quite,
It was impressive.
Yeah, it's not quite as elegant looking, but he gets his high.
Well, and for somebody that's built like Hawk, too, you're like, holy shit.
He's probably got 40 pounds on Randy Orton, 40 or 50
Yeah,
pounds on
I
him.
mean, he's no Coco Beware.
Right.
But yeah, he's up there definitely with Orton's dropkick for sure.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of like Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn is huge.
Yes.
He's way bigger than
Yes.
he kind of looks. He's deceptively large, and he had a killer dropkick too.
Yeah.
Tully goes for a crossbody off the top onto Animal, and he gets caught with a slam, which was great.
Yeah.
And then he tags Arn, and Arn doesn't want to get in.
Yeah, he's like, fuck.
He's looking at these guys like, what the fuck am I supposed to do to them?
Yeah, nothing has worked.
I don't want to get pressed again.
Yeah, exactly. So he gets in, he takes a few shots, and he powders out of the ring too. And they're just like, what do we do? They have no idea how to deal with these guys.
And to your point earlier about them being the best tag team of all time in ring work, this is what made them so good. They're a heel tag team, 100% playing their heel role, taking powders, making the other guys look like $1 million. That's just what they did. They were so good at it.
They knew exactly how to work with whoever they were working with.
Absolutely.
And they're doing exactly what they should have been done in this with Monster Babyface, just getting their asses literally tossed around. At one point, Hawk throws Tully at Animal, and Animal catches him in a bear hug, and then he does squats with him.
Yeah.
Like they're treating him like fucking children. It's like
Yeah,
they're
just
fighting
rag
children.
dolls, fucking throwing them around the ring and shit.
Yeah. And they finally Arn and Tully get something going when Animal goes for another press slam on Arn, and Tully takes his knee out.
Right.
And then they start working on his knee. So that's what you do. You ground the big guy.
Right.
So
Take
he
out
gets
his legs.
he gets to where he can't use the leg, and they do a figure 4 on him, which is, I think we skipped it in the previous match. I don't remember if we did. This is the second match in a row with a figure 4 on a guy with a bad leg.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. They were working over Nikita's leg.
Yeah, they were working over Nikita's leg. So this is match 2 where a figure 4 goes on a guy with a bad leg.
Yep.
And then Arn's on top of Hawk, but he goes to do, I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but he went to jump on top of him and he takes 2 knees to the dick. Yeah, and then Animal tags in and he starts to clean house, but Tully trips him, and this is where shit goes crazy. The match just breaks down.
This is the breakdown.
The referee, was Tommy Young?
Tommy Young.
Tommy Young ends up taking a bump to the floor, which there's no padding out there. It's a wood floor.
Yeah, it's concrete.
Yeah.
And
it was that was a deliberate hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
He didn't see Tully coming.
Yeah, Tully came and hit him from behind. He went right out of the ring onto that floor.
Yeah.
Arn ends up taking a bump over the top rope. And at this point, Earl shows up. Like, oh, I'll take over. I don't know where Earl was. They showed a replay. He looked like he came from out of the crowd.
Yeah.
But Earl shows up like he's going to take over for Tommy Young. And then the Road Warriors end up hitting a Doomsday device on Arn. Earl makes it in for the 3 count, and the place goes berserk.
Lost their fucking minds.
They lost their fucking mind. And then what did they do? Because Dusty was booking.
Dusty finish.
Tommy Young comes in. He says that they tossed Arn over the top. They show the replay. They did toss Arn over the top.
Which is a DQ in the NWA.
It's DQ, and Tommy Young was the original referee. Because Earl's like, no, I didn't see that happen. But he's the original referee.
On
so
the replay, you see when he's on his ass, he is looking straight at him.
He saw it happen. Yeah, the referee was right in the right place. You know, like they actually pulled it off perfectly. Like, take the bump here, make sure you're turned around in enough time to catch it, you know.
Tommy Young was fantastic, dude.
He was really good.
So good.
He was a really good ref, yeah. And that was that. And the Road Warriors left with the titles, but they were not the champions. And they announced it. They actually announced it in the crowd, because at first you can't tell if the crowd knows. And they announced it. The crowd shits all over it.
Dude, horrible. Just fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder, so you could intentionally hit a ref, but you can't throw somebody else in the view of the ref.
Well, he didn't know he intentionally got hit because he got hit from behind. You know what I mean?
But
he couldn't tell that Tully shot him out of the ring on purpose. But he saw Tully get tossed over the top rope.
True.
Correct.
Yeah.
And did you notice, I also want to go back to the Doomsday device. Did you notice how they dropped Arn?
No, I didn't.
Animal fell straight back with him. Normally they just flip the guy off Animal's shoulders.
Right.
Animal fell with Arn.
Oh, like an electric chair.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Taking care of Arn Anderson.
Right.
They're like, we're not going to flip your legs up and make you do all these flippies in the air. We're going to fall with you and
put him down
you
easy.
Put him down easy. Yep. That's good business, dude. That's good business.
It is. Yeah.
Next up, we have Jack Gregory and Magnum TA backstage. They throw it to Bob Caudle, who's with Nikita Koloff.
He says a bunch of Russian shit.
He says a bunch of shit in a bad Russian accent, and I didn't pay attention to any of it.
Yeah. Didn't once mention Rocky. He's rolling Rocky.
Yeah. I must break you. I might have gotten up to get coffee at this point, to be honest.
All right. Well, while Eddie was getting coffee, J.J. Dillon comes in.
I watched it this morning.
He says that it's the most important night of his life, which I couldn't find on any resources. Is he married? Or
Good question. I don't know.
That's interesting. I don't know if he was then.
It was a big night for the Horsemen, though.
Well, yeah, it was because,
they had the potential to walk out of this thing with all the gold.
With all the gold, yeah. Mm-hmm. That would have been cool, actually. That would have been a really good, you know what? I didn't even think about that. That would have been a good move. Like, if you want to be the talk of wrestling the day after Survivor Series, have the 4 Horsemen unify all the titles.
Hold all the fucking gold.
Fuck, dude. More bad booking.
Right?
Okay, did you announce the match?
No, but here it is. The next match is a steel cage match for the United States Championship. Lex Luger with J.J. Dillon. Lex is the champion entering, taking on Dusty Rhodes. The stipulation is that Dusty Rhodes cannot wrestle for a 90-day period if he loses.
Yeah, if he loses, he gets a 90-day vacation. Terrible.
I would have laid down.
What kind of stupid stipulation is that?
I'm gonna go spend 90 days in Vegas.
Weird one.
Yeah, as they started to announce it, I was like, wait, does he leave? And I'm like, no, because he doesn't go to WWE for a few more years. And then they
Right.
finished saying it. I'm like, oh, no, he just gets a fucking vacation. That's
He gets
awesome.
a vacation. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
There was this tag team turmoil match maybe in the last year. Xavier and Kofi were in the ring to start the match. Xavier immediately jumps on his back. Kofi goes for a pinfall, meaning that both of them would win. And then everyone just charges the ring. If I were Dusty Rhodes, I would have been like, let me get on my back. Give me them pina coladas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have laid down like fucking Jeff Jarrett.
Right. That's the point.
Pin me, pay me.
That's right.
So Johnny Weaver holds the key to the cage, which he's kind of a weird choice because he was a big deal in the Mid-Atlantic area. He's wrestled since like, I want to say the late 50s. Like he was like around for 100 years. But he wasn't really a big deal in Chicago. He was never like an NWA guy or AWA guy or even like the early Chicago territories that preceded that, like Fred Collar or anyone like that. So it's kind of a weird choice. It wasn't like you get the hometown. It wasn't like do the match at the Cow Palace and get Pat Patterson to hold it or something. It's like just
They
get
should have had
random-
Andre Dawson fucking do it.
or I was like, or Mr. T.
Right. Exactly. A Chicago guy.
Yeah, or like the refrigerator.
Right.
Someone like that. Yeah, but they get
Exactly.
Johnny Weaver, who
Oh, that
probably
would have been perfect. Refrigerator.
Yeah,
Just
probably most of
2
the people
years
in there-
removed
Yeah.
from 85. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. But probably most people in there didn't even know who the fuck Johnny Weaver was.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, I had to look him up. I've heard his name, but I didn't really know anything about him. I was like, oh, is he like a legend in that area? No.
Right. What I was kind of laughing at going into this match is you look at both guys in the cage about to face off and fight. Mm-hmm. To the average person, you look at those two guys facing off and you're like, how is this a match?
Right. Yeah,
Two
exactly.
totally different body types in there. Like,
Right. You're
and
like
of course, as wrestling fans, we're like, of course this makes sense. But to the average person, this does not make any sense.
Oh yeah, like if you're watching the pay-per-view and like your friend who doesn't watch wrestling is over.
Yeah.
They're like, one dude looks like fucking Superman.
Yeah. Yes.
And the other dude is like old and out of shape with he looks like his liver is going out with that splotch on his stomach.
paper mache forehead.
Yeah, paper mache for it. I wonder if Cody put that enormous mess on his neck so he would have a matching splotch with Dusty. He should have put it on his stomach.
Oh my god, that's great.
That'd have been funny.
I love it.
So Dusty's dominating Lex mostly with holds at the beginning of the match. He's outworking him the way a veteran would because he's got 15 more years in the business than Lex does at this point.
And the announcers are really catching on to that too.
Yes, right. He's the veteran. Right. He knows what to do. He's totally dominating him.
Yes.
Lex can't really do much. Dusty put him in a Kimura. Did you catch that was a Kimura?
I did, yep.
That's crazy. I've never seen a Kimura. I mean, I guess I've seen him, but not in a match like this, you know?
Yeah,
besides-
especially like 87.
Yeah, that was like a move like you'd see like a dude in Japan do, you know? Like
Right.
some old Japanese matches you'd see it, but to see Dusty do a Kimura, I was like, who taught him that?
That was badass.
Yeah, that was really cool. And Dusty is taking his time, dude. He's working like his cardio is as bad as it looks. Luger ends up getting out of the Kimura and he slams Dusty into the cage face first, and Dusty's wearing the crimson mask
shocking.
away. Yeah, shocking.
It looked like I think he bladed himself when he was checking on it.
Yeah, he went and sat in the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looked
yeah.
like that motion. So
That's typically when they do it. They'll go down and sell it like they're holding their head like they're hurt, but they'll
Right.
be bladed.
But I don't know. Just usually, I think in the few times that I've actually seen blading, it just didn't seem as obvious like that one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was fairly obvious, but I mean, for me it was because I was looking for it, I guess, because as soon as I saw him hit the cage,
Yeah, you knew.
I
Yeah.
knew it was coming. I knew blood was coming next.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, typically that's the way they'll do it. They'll do it like right after hitting, right after a move. Some guys will do it before. Hogan did it before getting hit with the chair at 7, I believe. Didn't he?
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Because you could totally see Hogan do it at 7.
Yeah.
And Shawn did it right before taking a slingshot into the post at 20. So there are definitely occasions I've seen guys do it beforehand, but yeah, it's pretty typical. Dusty did it like when most guys would.
And say what you will about Dusty's booking, but he booked himself in this match. But Dusty had that connection with the crowd that you can never say, oh, he just booked himself and, there was no real payout. No, Dusty's still connected with the crowd big time at this point.
Oh, yeah, he was over, brother.
Yeah, for sure. So he earned every bit of this title match with Luger.
Yeah, it's not like when Vern was trying to make Greg Gagne the top guy.
Exactly, yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he deserved the spot he was in.
100%, yeah. And it's not just because he booked himself into that position. He earned it with the crowd. The crowd loved Dusty.
Oh, yeah.
So there was okay, you want to call it favoritism, that's fine, but he was earning every bit of it. The crowd ate it all up. They loved Dusty.
Dusty reverses an Irish whip on Luger, and he hits a one-legged drop kick, which was pretty cool. Like, you couldn't get up into a full drop kick, but he got one leg up.
Yep.
There's someone who does that now. I can't think of who it is, but they make it look good, like it's on purpose, but it was just a shitty drop kick, but it was still pretty cool. Luger barely sells it, and right away he puts Dusty in a torture rack, but Dusty grabs the cage to get himself out.
Which was impressive, dude. It was like, holy shit, he's putting Dusty in the rack.
He lifted his big ass right up, dude, like it was nothing.
Right, and also let's point out that Hebner is 3 months away from doing the second most famous thing he'll ever do.
You're right. Yeah, you're totally right. I didn't even think about that. So Luger gets him in an armbar, and I noticed Luger is blown up. Dusty's not blown up. Luger is.
Right.
Could you
Here
see
we
how
are
hard?
making jokes about cardio, but dude.
Yeah, could you see how hard he was breathing? Like his whole mouth was puffing up like he's Dizzy Gillespie or something.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. And for a long time, it took him a long time to catch his breath.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, okay, I guess Dusty's got better cardio than him.
Yeah, Luger's yelling for a sleeper.
Yeah. And through this whole time when Luger's been on top, Luger's been working his back, and JR keeps saying that he's working the back to set up the torture rack, but at this point he starts working his arm for some reason.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. Like, grab a bear hug and catch your breath.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, go for a rest hold, dude.
Yeah.
But Luger was still, at this point,
Pretty green.
maybe 2 years into the business.
Yeah.
Maybe less. But yeah, he was definitely rushed to the top of the card. I mean, look at the fucking guy, right? Like, of course he was. But yeah, you're right, Eddie. Still very green at this point.
Right, yeah. So I forgot to mention earlier, who was it the guy hitting the knee with the chair? That was Hawk, right? Guy hitting the knee. No, he got his, no.
Nikita Koloff did.
Nikita. They missed that shot. You didn't see it happen on camera.
Right.
That happens again in this, when JJ takes out Johnny Weaver with the chair.
Yep.
Like, you kind of see something happen on the far side of the cage, but you can't really tell what happened, and then you see what happened. I didn't even know a chair was involved until JR said it.
Right.
So he takes the key, like he's going to unlock the cage, and he can't get it unlocked, and he drops the fucking key.
He drops the key.
And then
What a
Earl
mess.
runs to the corner, like, even if he does have the key, like, no.
Right.
Keep your
Yeah,
ass
Earl
out.
comes over there, and then he tosses the chair into the ring, barely. It almost fell back down on him.
Yeah, dude.
Like
that
it
was
hit
great.
it hit it and kind of flipped over it the way Barry Windham did over the top rope earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Like a sigh of relief on JJ's part for sure.
Yeah, totally, exactly. Yeah, that would have been embarrassing to have to do it a second time with Earl still distracted and shit.
Yeah.
And Earl pretending he doesn't see the fucking chair.
Yeah, but for one of the biggest spots, you're right. The camera completely missed it.
It totally
when JJ
missed it.
took out.
Yeah. The chair lands right on Dusty. It hits him like on his legs.
Right.
And then Luger comes over like he's going to pick it up and hit Dusty with it. Dusty grabs a quick DDTs him on it.
Yeah.
And wins, and he gets the fuck out of there.
Yeah, he runs.
He runs away. Like, I was like, Flair is definitely having a party in his room after the show. Yeah. It was really weird. It was like the second time, like, because the Road Warriors got the fuck out of there too. They just right away walked off. Dusty's like, peace.
They saw Jimmy Garvin's interview. They're like, this shit's good tonight. We got to go.
Yeah, right. Where's Jimmy? Where's Jimmy, baby? And that's it for that match.
Just for the record, a little bit of drunk history here. Luger would leave the Horsemen about a week after this match.
Okay.
And he would turn face. And eventually go on to win the tag team titles with Barry Windham a few months later. And then get turned on by Barry Windham as Barry Windham would join the Horsemen.
They just swap places.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
Traded out Luger for Windham, which, in my opinion, that's a win for the Horsemen.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, excuse me, in my opinion, the best version of the Horsemen was Barry Windham, the Brainbusters, and Ric Flair. Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you saw much more of that shit than I did, but I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, look at all those guys, dude.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Paul Roma era was stellar, but yeah, not as good as this.
So we finish up with the main event of the night, and J.J. Dillon has to work again. This is...
Back out there.
Yep. Get that cardio out. It's a steel cage match for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Ron Garvin, the champion, taking on Ric Flair with J.J. Dillon.
Even Ronnie Garvin's music is fucking boring.
What I loved is during introductions, you could hear Garvin getting booed. Mm-hmm. And like 4 minutes into the match, you hear a very clear Garvin sucks chant from the crowd. Chicago fucking knew back in 87, dude. Chicago fucking knew.
Well, the Chicago crowd is always very,
They'll tell you what's up.
They'll tell you what's up. Yeah, right. They don't necessarily like the baby face at all times.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the way they turned on Trish at 22.
Dude, yeah,
You know?
and the JR was getting mad.
Yeah, this woman's done nothing to this crowd to deserve this.
Yeah, but here
Yeah.
in 87,
They're being
JR doesn't
defiant.
even acknowledge the crowd.
Yeah, no, they were being very defiant.
Oh, very. Yeah, they
Yeah.
didn't like any bit of Garvin.
No, because he sucked.
Yeah.
Even like walking to the ring, he looks bored. Like all the charisma sucked out of the place as soon as he comes through that fucking smoke.
Him and Terry Taylor would have made a great tag team.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, they could. Yeah, shit.
Called the Charisma Vacuums.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Mulkeys were more entertaining than those two.
Word.
Why is this a single fall match instead of a three fall since it's the NWA title match? Is that because it's in a
good point.
cage? Yeah,
Good
I didn't,
point.
and
Yeah.
they didn't address. I didn't hear them address it.
Wait, was it? It wasn't supposed to be a 3-fall match.
But NWA title matches always were. That was the deal. An NWA title has to change hands on a 3-fall match.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a rule in NWA.
Really?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wait, what was the heavyweight title match for 86?
I don't know.
That was...
Looking it up.
Did they get? You know what? Did Crockett get away? Did Crockett get away for that rule at this point? Because that was
Dude, I'm almost positive he did, because I'm trying to think back to previous Starrcade mains.
well. That was the beef between Vince Sr. and the NWA when Buddy Rogers lost to Lou Thez. He lost in one fall. They were pissed that the NWA wanted to put the title on Thez because he wasn't a draw in the Northeast. They wanted to keep control of the title. But the storyline, they're like, not storyline because they were sort of breaking kayfabe almost in a way, but they were like, we don't recognize that title change because it was only a single fall match. It wasn't a 2 out of 3 falls match.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe Crockett had gotten away from that at this point, but that was the deal.
The previous Starrcade, which I believe we have covered, doesn't say anything about 2 out of 3 falls for
Okay.
the main event.
Was it
was
Flair
just a
Dusty?
regular singles match.
Flair Dusty?
Flair and Nikita Koloff.
Oh, Flair and Nikita. Okay.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, because that was when Magnum did the video with his grandma. Because he was supposed to be in the match, right?
Because he was supposed to be in it, that's right.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
video
then
with his grandma.
He hugged his grandma on the beach.
He loves her.
And by the way, make sure that you check out that episode in our episode history list.
I forgot we had
That's
done
right.
that.
We did do that one.
Okay, so this isn't like the first time they'd ever done that, but that was an NWA. I'm gonna have to look this up.
But if it's a regular thing, I mean, it's now 2 times you've strayed away from the ordinary.
It might have been that at this point Crockett was effectively the NWA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There really weren't any other NWA territories that meant anything, so he
Right.
could kind of do his own thing. But yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. If anyone knows the deal with that, tweet me. But I'm gonna look it up anyway. But yeah, that was okay. So this isn't the first time we've seen that. That's just me forgetting. Okay, so Scott's tapping his watch because he's got to leave in a few minutes. So we're gonna get right into this. My first note is I can't believe Vince hired Garvin. He's exactly the opposite of a Vince guy.
But he booked him perfectly. He never won a title.
No, he just made him like
I
a
also want to point out as a wrestling figure, Mark, Ron Garvin is one of the few guys in all of wrestling that has never had a wrestling figure. That tells you everything you need to know about Ronnie Garvin's charisma. He's never had a toy made of him.
That's the funniest thing I've ever fucking heard.
Dude, even PN News has had a figure. Ronnie Garvin has not, and he's a former NWA champion.
Did Van Hammer have a figure?
No, not yet, but I'm sure he's coming.
No, he's not. He killed
But
a
Van
kid.
Hammer was never a world champion.
Well, no, that's true.
Let's be fair.
Neither was PN News.
Yeah. Ronnie Garvin has never had a toy.
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. I'm so glad you brought that up. Garvin's fucking up Flair early on. And it's a cage match, so cool. Armbar.
Right.
Then he does the Garvin Stomp, which I completely forgotten about. It's the worst. I hated when Randy Orton, remember he started doing it?
Yes.
I hated it. But they start trading shots, and Garvin's chops are actually... Garvin was always a good wrestler. I always thought he was really good in the ring. I just think he's fucking boring as shit.
Yeah, he can have a decent match. But his chops, dude, holy shit.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, he's chopping the shit out of Flair. I mean, both, when they're like trading hands, it looks fucking great.
And there was one spot where he had Flair in between the ropes and the cage, and I swear to God, it looked like he was fucking slapping him in the face.
It did. I think one or two of those might have missed and hit him in on the cheek instead of the chest.
Yeah, he was sending them though, dude, because they were loud as fuck.
Oh yeah, they were loud. It was like Walter or Gunther.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. But Garvin is like half the size.
Yeah, it was great. This was a cool match. I like this match a lot.
It was all right.
Flair takes over and he's just beating on him. He's not going for a pin. He's just like beating him up.
And the crowd's turning.
The crowd's turning because Flair just looks so cool doing it with the hair and and they love the chops.
Yes. They were definitely siding with the heel on this one. They hated Ronnie Garvin.
Yeah, and he does a what do you call that? A shin breaker where you lift him up.
And then he immediately drops him.
And goes
into
right
the figure four.
And goes right into a figure four, which is cage match number 2 with figure fours.
Yep. And then the crowd pops like the Road Warriors had just fucking done it.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, this is the third match with a figure four of the night.
Yes.
And then Garvin makes his Garvin makes his way to the ropes. He gets out, but he can't really stand. And I'm like, at this point, his legs are about as good as his personality is. And Flair starts going for the face smash. He's trying to smash Garvin's face into the cage, but Garvin's blocking it. And then he ends up reversing it, does it to Flair twice, and then grates his face on it. And Flair's bleeding at this point, and now I feel like I've seen this match before somewhere. Guy goes face first into a cage and bleeds.
Yeah. Yeah. The previous match.
Yeah, right. Then Garvin bites Flair, and dude, Ric Flair is the last dude whose blood I would want in my mouth in 1987.
Right.
Right. You know what he's up to. Like that dude, I would be fucking scared to death. I wouldn't even want him blading in a match with me.
Actually, you could say that for a lot of the NWA roster, though.
Well, that's true, but I mean Flair especially.
Especially
if he
Flair.
blades himself, you'd be running out of that cage like Road Warriors and Dusty.
Yeah.
The dude's literally on TV every Saturday talking about how many chicks he's fucking, and you're going to bite him in the forehead and drink his blood.
Yeah. Ronnie Garvin would probably be more interesting with fucking hepatitis, though.
Maybe. He gets rabid. Yeah, he'd be way more interesting.
He's foaming at the mouth.
Yeah. Now that's a character I want to see.
Yeah, right. Shit. Yeah, he's a werewolf.
A 5 foot tall one, but still.
Yeah, 5 foot tall werewolf. Flair takes a bump off the top rope, and then Garvin puts on a figure four. But then it turns into a fucking brawl. Garvin's winning the brawl. Yeah. And they end up fighting on the top rope, and Flair gets crotched while Garvin's up there. Then Garvin goes for, it was really cool, Garvin goes for a top rope sunset flip.
Which is how he won the title.
Right. I saw that match. I forget where I saw that match, or maybe I've just seen a clip of it. But right, he won with that before.
Yeah.
But Flair
which I like when they do that. They call back to how he won originally. Like,
We've
you're
seen
like,
this
okay, he's
before.
going to do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a good callback. I liked it.
Yeah. But Flair sits on his chest for a pin, but the referee sees that he's holding the ropes, which, I mean, I know it's a rope break, but cage match, you should be allowed to do that, I think.
Agree.
Then we get ref bump number 3.
Right.
Because someone just didn't really put a lot of thought into the show, I guess. And Garvin hits his knockout punch, his fucking hands of stone.
Yes.
But Flair kicks out because of a delayed count. This was the same referee, right?
Tommy Young.
Tommy Young, yeah. And he got over there a little too slowly for the 3 count.
And that was incredible that Flair kicked out. You're like, holy shit.
Right, because you think he's done. He just got hit with the finisher after getting crotched.
Right.
That's it. And then Flair shoots Garvin into the ropes, catches him when he comes back, and lifts him up like a flapjack type position, backs him into the cage face first. He actually hits the fucking post, because this cage has the post in the center of it. Nailed it. Like, that was good ring awareness. You know what I mean? To be perfectly lined up dead center with it and for Garvin to hit it. I mean, I didn't even catch that he hit the post till the replay.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3, Ric Flair wins the match, and the crowd was fairly split. There were a lot of cheers for Ric Flair at this point.
Oh, man. Yeah, they popped. Big time. I thought they popped. I thought it was like when the Road Warriors, when they thought the Road Warriors won. Like, it was
Yeah.
loud, dude. The crowd hella popped.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It probably was probably more Flair, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And this is title win number 5 at this point for Ric Flair.
Right. So that's it for that match. So overall, this might be the worst booked pay-per-view I've ever seen with the best matches.
Right, dude.
Because all the matches, even the Terry Taylor match that I was fairly bored with, had its spots. You know, parts of it, the end was pretty good, parts of it were pretty good, but that was the worst match. You know, the worst match was not terrible.
Right.
But but the good matches were really good, but the booking was just garbage the entire time. And that's what we talked about at the beginning before, when Adam was on the toilet still, that they really screwed things up. They fucked the Road Warriors over, so now Chicago's mad.
Exactly.
I don't think they ever went back to Chicago when Crockett was still in charge.
Killed the territory.
I think that was it for Chicago because they barely drew in the first place. Now you pissed everybody off. You're not going back.
Exactly.
And there was the thing we mentioned earlier. So I didn't get to this earlier when we were talking about how Vince ran Survivor Series against it. They only got 20,000 pay-per-view buys. The 88 Great American Bash, when Vince wasn't running anything against it, got 190,000 buys.
Damn.
So if they'd had full
Ouch.
pay-per-view coverage, they might have sold a lot of pay-per-views. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they got so screwed over by Vince and the cable companies. And at that point, the reason Vince didn't run anything against that was because the cable companies started getting pissed. They were like, fuck you. You guys are costing us money because both of these should be selling well. Stop running shows against each other because you're dragging us into your fucking promotional war that we don't care about.
Right.
You know, and we're losing money. Like Vince could take a loss because he was making so much money. Crockett really couldn't. This really fucked him over. But the cable companies didn't want to take a loss over some shit they didn't care about.
Yep.
So that was that. So yeah, Great American Bash did 170,000 more pay-per-view buys.
Yep.
8 months later.
Yeah, and you know this would have done more.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. Yeah, so this was, like we said, it was a major fucking blow to Crockett, and they sold to Turner in less than a year, I think.
That's right.
Just under a year. Yeah, like by like September or so. They were sold. They couldn't, they got so deep in debt and so fucked by Vince.
Yeah, and then Vince ended up basically setting the table for his biggest competition ever.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Essentially, he did it to himself.
Sorta. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. He didn't really manage to completely put him out of business because Turner was there to bail him out.
Right.
Is what it was with basically an unlimited checkbook.
Right.
And it was because Turner wanted content was the main thing. There's always this story about Turner was a huge wrestling fan and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Turner definitely did say, I'm always going to have wrestling on my network because it was like helped build the network. So he had a loyalty to wrestling in particular, but it was also about just needing content, you know?
Right.
So like, oh, okay, well, shit, I don't want him to go out of business. I want him on my TV. I guess I'll just buy him.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's that.
On the 6-pack rating.
3.
4. It probably would be a 3, but quality of matches, I'll give it 4. You know, just that the matches were better than the booking was bad. You know what I mean? So I'll give it more than half.
I got you.
You know what I mean? The pros outweigh the cons. As a standalone show, it was really fun to watch. So I'll give it more than half a 6-pack. So I'll give it 4.
I'll put it middle of the road. I'm giving it 3. Road Warriors should have won.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd give 4. Like, there definitely spots where you can't piss off the crowd and they cross the line. So
even a fucking double DQ in that match would have been better than a dusty finish because the dusty finish just fucks with the fans. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it would be disappointing to get a double DQ, but if you don't want to put the title on, you don't have to swerve on the fucking fans.
Yeah, talk about an emotional ringer, dude. You see your team win the titles, and they're like, "Oh, just kidding." The other team won.
Totally. Yeah, and it's called the dusty finish because Dusty did it all the fucking time. It's like on top of it being a shit finish that pisses people off, they've seen it 100 fucking times.
Right.
You know, it happens all the time. It's not even a inventive finish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, stupid.
All right. Well, that takes care of our coverage of Starrcade 87 Chi-Town Heat. What'd you all think of our coverage, and what do you think of this particular pay-per-view when watching it on Peacock? Please let us know on the social media platforms. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, wrestling_drunk. Please tell your family, friends, heels, and faces to like, share, and subscribe. And please leave reviews so that we could keep this drunk wrestling adventure going. On behalf of Scott and Eddie. I'm Adam, reminding all of you to enjoy your buzz, watch wrestling responsibly, drink like nobody's watching. Don't piss off the Chicago territory, and we will see you all next time with another great episode.
And really, really quickly before you
Yes.
count it down, because we forgot this, because we're nothing without our designated host, we forgot to say, buy a fucking shirt.
Buy a fucking shirt.
We left
Buy
that
a
out in the
fucking
intro.
shirt. Luckily, you got that on the 1. If it went to 3, then they wouldn't have bought a fucking shirt.
Yeah, right. And that's all I got to say. Take it home.
So please, do Eddie proud. Buy a fucking shirt. All right. 1, 2, 3. My kind of town Chicago is.
Dive.
Who the fuck is Johnny Weaver?
I like Sigourney and Jared.
Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Go ahead! Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth.